Aurora had always been a diligent girl, getting excellent grades in school. Her parents, often traveling on business, entrusted her to the care of her grandmother with whom she lived. When he graduated, his parents cut back on their travels and started a business. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to not miss any of our stories. Enrolled at the university in her city, everything seemed to be going swimmingly. Her father always told her that once she graduated, she would become CEO of their company, allowing him and her mother to retire. Aurora, with a smile, replied that she would start her own business and that her father would find managers for her. Matteo, her father, taught her a lot about how to run a business, building relationships and the importance of each customer. He owned several car dealerships in the city and was very proud of them. Despite her family's high income, Aurora always dressed modestly, but with taste. Since she was a child, she knew that it was not a beautiful dress that made a lady. Sometimes her friends would joke about her simple style, but she would just laugh. She loved it. She had a good heart, and people enjoyed being around her. Finally, the day of her graduation arrived. She sat in the kitchen with her parents, celebrating the event with cake and tea. Her father started talking again about putting her in charge of the family business because he felt tired and she finally gave up. In fact, her parents had worked hard to ensure her future. The matter was resolved. The next morning, Matteo announced at the company headquarters that he was retiring. Her place would be taken by her daughter, who, for the past 2 weeks, had been secretly studying the mechanisms of the company. The only thing he hadn't done yet was meet the employees, which Matteo had done on purpose to maintain some mystery. Aurora decided to work incognito as a normal employee, and her father approved the strategy. "Wise decision," he said. "To effectively run a business, you need to know how your employees work." I myself went from mechanic to top manager of a car dealership before starting my own business. Finally, the day came when Aurora decided to start working undercover at one of the dealerships. He deliberately arrived 10 minutes late, and as he entered, looked around to take stock of the situation. Behind the receptionist's desk, Aurora said, "Sorry I'm late. I'm the new intern. You should have received an email from the main office yesterday." The girl looked up and said, "Oh yeah, there really was an email yesterday. How did I not notice? Dario, come here. This is our new intern. Her name is Aurora. Do you want to show her around, or should I ask someone else?" Dario, another employee, smiled and said he would take care of it. He began to show the dealership. "This is where we document purchases. Over there is the cafeteria, and then there is my office and the general manager's office." There were many cars in the dealership lobby, and as they walked by, Aurora noticed a couple examining a cheap car, looking around as if they needed help. "Dario, you said there were no customers, but there are at least 2 here." Dario chuckled. "They're not real customers. They're just browsing." "We have a colleague, Alberto, who has a weakness for these kinds of people. Sometimes they manage to sell a car, but most of the time they just come to look without buying anything." "Where is Alberto now? Do you have a routine for who serves certain customers?" asked Aurora. "Alberto will come later. We usually take turns, but if you want to try, go ahead." Aurora accepted the challenge, came over, and answered all the questions, demonstrating a deep knowledge of cars, closing the deal in the blink of an eye. Shortly after, she saw that Alberto managed to sell an expensive car to a man, and Aurora understood that Dario had not told her the whole truth. Later, an elderly lady entered the dealership. Alberto offered to help her, and Aurora decided to join them. The old woman explained that she wanted to buy a car for her nephew Raffaele, who was coming to the city to enroll in university. She had been saving for this gift for a long time, but she needed a discount. Dario and Bruno, the dealership manager, burst out laughing and refused to grant the discount. Aurora intervened, suggesting they call the CEO. Dario replied that he didn't have the number, but Alberto, accepting the challenge, dialed the number on his smartphone. Everyone was surprised when Aurora's phone rang. She answered with a smile. "Hi, Alberto, permission granted." Then, turning to the others, she said, "I am Aurora Costa, your new boss." She offered a personal discount to Mrs. Maria, who eventually bought the desired car. Alberto, impressed, was appointed the new branch manager with the task of creating a new team within a week. 6 months later, Aurora and Alberto were sitting in a cafe. During that time, they had introduced many positive changes in their dealerships. Alberto, no longer able to hide his feelings, confessed to Aurora that he loved her. She burst out laughing. "Finally! I've been waiting 6 months to hear it." Relieved and happy, he hugged Aurora. Over the next few months, their romance blossomed, seamlessly intertwining with their professional lives. The dealership, under their leadership, flourished like never before. They organized a party, families came in large numbers, and they appreciated the opportunity to try out the cars before buying them. Aurora, reflecting on how much they had grown together, suggested that Alberto take a further step forward. "Why don't we expand our business? We could open a new dealership in another city." Alberto, his eyes shining with enthusiasm, immediately accepted. A year later, their new dealership was a success. Loyal customers from the first location came to support the new venture, and new customers were excited to learn the story behind the brand. Aurora and Alberto, now partners in life and business, looked with pride at all they had built together, happy and with so much luck ahead.